One of the questions that comes up with Nirvana from time to time is, are there any unreleased songs or unreleased studio material that is yet to surface? As of the making of this video, the last known completed Nirvana studio recording that's been released publicly is You Know You're Right. It was recorded on January 30th, 1994 at Robert Lang Studios in Seattle, though it wasn't released until more than 8.5 years later when it was released as the single from Nirvana's self-titled Greatest Hits record on October 8th, 2002. In my interview with Robert Lang, he spoke about his reaction to hearing the song once it was released, and he recalled what the recording process was like for You Know You're Right. I'm going to show you those clips here in this video. If you'd like to see the full interview I did with Robert Lang, it's linked below. The last song Nirvana recorded was with you and Adam. It was You Know You're Right. Were you in the studio when they were recording the song? And if so, what were your thoughts on it?
The whole time I was here, assistant Adam Casper, I just, I remember the steel drums they were using in the intro of the song. I remember it at the end of the song. I remember that the timing had to be right. I remember Kurt coming in and on that Sunday when he got here, he was doing some vocals and then his back was hurting. And so, he brought that, that fur light brown coat that he wore. That was draped over the island down there. I went, wow, man. He was like, wow, can I touch it? Whatever, But he would come out in the studio and lay on the hard granite marble floor. And his back was in some pain. And so, that may have had something to do with some of the lyrics. They were writing, they had done some tracking, him and Chris, before, of course. Kurt showed up, and it was like I say, he came in first. He tried doing some vocals. They used an SM58, and they did something to where they hooked up the speakers by his head backwards, like out of phase, and so it canceled each other out. So it gave this whole new kind of thing to where he really they were trying different things, different tricks and stuff that Adam had, and it was really cool. But then we went up and had some pizza, and I heard the story, and then it came back, and the whole session, we worked probably till up to midnight, 1 a.m, something like that. But what an experience, This place definitely went down in history, and that it was that led into Dave Grohl coming back and doing that. The first Foo Fighter record with the ray gun on it, and and that was pretty damn cool. I think he had Greg Dooley of the Afghan Wigs come in and do some guitar solo on that. But other than that, Dave crunched out like 17 songs in 5 days. I've never seen anything like it. He played everything.
I know you have a long relationship with Dave Grohl. Did it start with the You Know You're Right session?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
And how was that experience for you, that session? From what I know, it was 3 days, correct?
Yeah, 3 days. The 28th of January, 1994, 29th and 30th. And Kurt showed up on that Sunday. He should have been on Saturday, but they didn't know. Chris and Dave did not know whether he's going to show up or not. And until 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, the 30th of January, they got the phone call. And Chris hightailed it out of here and went to go down to Madison Park and picked him up, brought him out. And I'll never forget that, because we went out and had pizza up the street here, and Kurt started talking about, he had a big concert where Eddie Van Halen showed up backstage and was a drunk fool. So Kurt had him, basically the security, get him out. And so I heard that story firsthand with Kurt. Hearing it coming from Kurt was like that really stuck in my head. You know what I mean? That really, so it was like one of those things.
Now, if I may ask, was that the first time you met Kurt during the sessions?
Yep. Yeah, that was the first time.
So the 2 days where it was just Dave and Chris, was the vibe different than when it was Dave, Chris, and Kurt the last day?
Not really. It was outside, maybe a little more serious, on Sunday, because I think they were like maybe possibly surprised that Kurt got a hold of them on that Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They really, it seemed to me that they had a direct line between, of course, Chris and Dave. They kind of knew what they were doing, of course, the professional people that they are. And they almost like, there's this mystical roadmap that they had. And they weren't writing music out. They were just going off their feelings. At least I didn't see them writing stuff down. Maybe a note or so in the background, what the song's name was, something like that. But they were pretty, incredible. Just those 2 days before Kurt came. I mean, they just, I think they got about four tracks down.
Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff, like instrumental stuff down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was, like I say, it was unbelievable to see them doing that.
When did you eventually hear the completed version of You Know You're Right?
It wasn't until after Courtney decided to let them release it. I was starting to wonder, what's going to happen to this? I just wanted to make sure that, I had some type of credit on that record. And so I was just like, if you don't stay proactive with the record companies, and like I was doing the Desire Dreams On or something like that with her heart, Desire, and it's like if you don't stay proactive, a couple of years go on, you don't get any credit. They just forget about you. You know what I mean? Like what I did with the heart situation. The only thing that got credit on that was like King Sunny a Day. The Talking Drums came in for a song called Voodoo they did here. But getting on back on the phone call when I put down to, I think, John Silva's management, making sure that I had credits on You Know You're Right. They said, "Oh, Robert, don't worry. Don't worry about the credits. You're going to be surprised." And so, I waited. And then, of course, the box set, when we got the box set, they sent it up to me. You open it up and pulled it out, and there's our house that's on the inside cover of it. So that was very, 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 very cool. Very cool.